Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of Steehn vs. Machine, Week 9. As always, I am joined by Scott Steehn, the lead handicapper over there at Winners and Winers. Scott, how are you doing?
Good, Truman. How are you today?
I am good. I'm hanging in there. We made it to Friday during what certainly has been a long week for a lot of people, including myself. I mean, not it doesn't affect my life that much, but I mean, I guess it affects everybody's life. But at the end of the day, yes, it's been a long week, but I'm happy it's Friday. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy to bring another episode of Steehn vs. Machine to the masses. Hopefully, get back on. We're both looking for those opportunities to get back on track. I believe after a Halloween weekend that was kind of full of a lot of tricks, not a ton of treats.
Not a lot of treats there, bud. Indeed.
And how's your week been, Scott? How have you been doing?
It's been all right, as with everybody else. Certainly been anxiously awaiting the results of the election. Of course, I've got positions all over the place, so I kind of need to see some results to see how if my bets are going to get paid or not.
Right.
So yeah, I've got even more incentive than the rest of America. So we'll just have to see how everything goes. As we record this, there's no definitive answer yet. Everybody's still counting, apparently by hand. I don't know how that's all working, but it's certainly not going very fast. So
No.
you know what? We waited this long. We can we can wait a little while longer. Of course, I remember back in 2000 when they
Oh, right.
and didn't get it decided until I want to say around the middle of December.
Jeez. Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, good times.
Yeah. No.
Anyway,
Five times states.
good to be here. Good to be talking about anything but politics and the election. Good to be talking about sports, in spite of the fact that we had our kind of a shitty week last week.
Right. And before we do move on from the election, I do want to recommend everybody. I did watch the Winners and Winers election video that you guys did. It was a very comprehensive. What was it? 45 plus.
Yeah,
Minutes,
yeah,
right?
it was a long one. It was almost about 55 minutes. It was almost an hour.
Right. One of the most deep dives on the election, and one of the most comprehensive election uh, betting guides that I've seen. And I think with a lot of those long betting videos, I don't know if I can always sit around and watch every minute of it. But man, of the 55 minutes that you said, I probably must have watched 53 minutes of it. Very interesting takes that you guys had. It was a very objective viewpoint that you looked at. You looked at purely betting statistics, and you didn't bring anything about it. And that was a great way to look at it, and great opportunity to learn about what was going to be going on in the election, and it guided some of my betting. I think I made $5 off this election. So
Outstanding.
I,
I got to tell you, but by the way, I appreciate the compliment. That's very kind of you. I read that this is the most bet upon event in human history, more than the Super Bowl, World Series, and NBA Finals combined. And I was surprised by a couple things. I was surprised, number one, that there weren't more videos like mine out there. There's a lot of places that do real deep dive, and they have a lot of followers. And I'm surprised there wasn't more betting guides out there. And I'm surprised that the one I put up didn't do better, because my daily videos usually get, if I'm a college football or NFL, I'm going to get somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 views. I think we got a couple hundred off the election video. So it was weird. It was kind of a disconnect between a lot of people betting on it, but everybody's got their idea about what they wanted to happen, and I think they bet with their heart. They don't really want to handicap it from a handicapping perspective. That's my guess anyway. Maybe people just hate me. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for the compliment, and we'll have to see how that comes out. We did okay. Our picks ended up being pretty good. It's the polling, the odds. There was definitely opportunities to make money there, because the odds were skewed in favor of the polls, and the polls were dreadful, as you probably know. So
yeah.
there was a lot of opportunities to make some money out there, especially on the underdogs, on the underdog Republicans, was where that money is to be made in the Senate. So
Right.
anyway, enough about that. We'll revisit this again, and we'll do it in 2 years, maybe for the midterm. We'll talk about it.
Right. Well, and of course, sometimes maybe it's hard to handicap things that are that important to you. I wouldn't have. With the Chiefs game, it was tough for me to look at it in the Super Bowl. When the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl, it was hard for me to look at that objectively and go, well, what do I really think is going to happen here? What do I really want to place my money on? I think I didn't bet any money on it personally, just because I was like, I think I'd rather just not have to. I think I'd rather just deal with the normal anxiety, not the financial anxiety. But yes.
Fair enough.
But all right, let's get back in. So just to recap last week's picks. Not great for either of us. You
No.
went 2-3. I went
Yeah.
1-4. Just some heartbreakers. Colts -3. That was a very comfortable dub by the Colts over the Lions there. Pats Bills 41. Cam Newton fumbling late didn't save you soon enough. In 24-21 there.
Yep.
Browns -2.5. Man, the Browns were in that game the entire time, and that was probably one of the worst football games of the year to watch.
Yeah, it was awful.
16-6.
Bad conditions, and yeah, just a horrible football game.
Yeah, Saints -4.5. Jesus
Never
Christ,
showed up.
they're up. Well, they were up, and then they go down. They're only up a field goal, so I'm like, okay, now we need overtime. They get to overtime, and then they kick a field goal to win the game. I'm like, you mother, And
Yeah.
and you had the Eagles -10.5. Obviously, that cashed against another
They're bad.
terrible game.
They're really bad. Dino DiMucci or whatever his name, Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci, yeah.
Ben did not going to be around here much longer. I was listening to a podcast today, and I said, that kid's not good enough for the NFL, and the other guy said he's not even good enough for D1. So
that's funny.
Fairly true. Although Carson Wentz may beg to differ, but
Ben did not get a contract extension last week.
He did not. No, he's not. He's not America's newest sweetheart. So let's. Yeah, you had
your top and bottom picks there. Yeah, you win-loss. Yeah.
And you invested in Anthony Lynn. Good call there, because he never blows a big lead.
Oh my God, they're up 6.
That Denver team did absolutely nothing for 3 quarters.
Don't have a penalty. Don't.
It was dreadful, just dreadful. Packers no-showed. Steelers were good. That was a good play right there. I should have jumped on the money line as well, because I believe the Steelers. Titans outgained them, did everything right, but the Ravens did everything right, except score points and not turn the ball over. So
yeah, was it 2 turnovers inside the 10 by Lamar?
Well,
one by Lamar, and then one was on downs, right?
Right. So yeah, good times. But we'll and then you had the Titans, and they were no bueno there, as Cincinnati beat them outright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was probably the weirdest game of the week. I didn't expect Cincinnati. They just kept on holding on. I'm like, Titans, we're running out of time here, Titans.
Yeah.
Titans could not get it done.
Yeah, just not good. So hey, let's go on to this week. What do you say?
So yeah.
Or I guess give us our overall records.
Yeah, the overall records. So you were 2-3. That netted you -134. That brings your net to +91 for the season. You're still 21-18-1. I double checked the math this time. I did add up all 40 just to make sure that adds up to the 40 from the first 8 weeks. And this is kind of our halfway marker. This is an interesting, but this is when ideally the spreadsheet should start to take off, because now we've got, as the sample size widens, the spreadsheet should keep gaining more. And personally, in years past, I haven't used the spreadsheet until later in the season. I don't even think, last week I started using it till week 9, week 10, But right. I'm hoping that we're gonna start to see this thing take off here a bit. Obviously, I netted after last week. I was -272 and I was 1-4. We had kind of jinxed myself. We were talking about how I hadn't had a dangerous week or a terrible week in a few weeks, or only had one during the whole season. And there it was, 1-4. Knocked me back down to -486. But a perfect week this week's put me back on top. So it puts me into the positives for maybe the first time on the year. Because I'm now -486. I'm at 17-22-1. But like we said, this is when we expect the machine to start taking off.
Yeah, hopefully the machine will get smarter. I've been getting dumber every week, so we'll just we'll have to see if I can right the ship there and stop the slow deterioration of my handicapping skills. I need a machine, but at least I'm still profitable, still making money.
Yeah.
Still made enough money to buy a nice dinner for the wife. So
yeah,
hopefully I can double that up by the end of the season.
Exactly. So, an effort to kind of move on and rinse ourselves from last week, let's move on to this week's picks. Loser walk, right? So I guess I'm going first, huh?
Yep.
All right. So my first pick of the week, the one I like the most here is the Titans -6.5, -111 over the Chicago Bears. The Bears are coming to Tennessee. The spreadsheet likes this pick the most out of all of them. Just like, and just as a clarification, I don't know if we've recapped it here in a few weeks. My first pick is the one that my spreadsheet liked the most, and we go through the top 5 picks of the spreadsheet. And
So you go in descending order.
Right, and I think I had 7 or 8 picks, but my favorite pick of the week right now is the Titans -6.5 over those Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears probably one of the worst playoff teams or teams in a playoff spot right now. I would have to say. Well, sorry. Besides whoever's in the NFC East, but other than that, probably one of the worst playoff teams they're one of the worst teams that are in playoff contention right now. So yeah, I like the Steelers -6.5 there to take care of business. I mean, I like the Titans -6.5 there to take care of business against the Bears.
All right, very good. I'm going to start off with a little play from upstate New York as the Seahawks come to town take on the Buffalo Bills. As we stand right now, this line has been pretty steady. Is now Buffalo +3, but I'm going to go a little different direction. Truman, I'm going to take the Bills on the money line at +145, and that's actually gone up from this afternoon.
Well, you have it. Okay, so that's gone up since I even filled that in. So
yeah, it was plus 140 here a few hours ago.
145.
Here's the deal. I love Russ. I love Metcalf. Hate the defense. Hate that defense. They are just dreadful. They are the worst defense in the NFL outside of Dallas, and it's a real shame. If you put the Bears and the Seahawks together, you'd have one really good team. But that's not how that works. Josh Allen's kind of slumped lately. I think he's due for a bounce-back week. Bills have been running the ball a little bit better. Finally, my man Devin Singletary getting some carries. I like the Bills to win this one outright. Bills +145.
And I don't hate that pick. I've kind of been waiting for the Bills to bounce back. They haven't impressed me since maybe that win over the Rams. They went through kind of barely beating mediocre teams, losing to the Chiefs, winning 18-10 over the Jets. Just a few pretty bad weeks here lately from the Bills. So I'm excited. I'll be excited to see what the Bills can do against the Seahawks, because the question will be, if the Seahawks offense gets going, can the Bills offense keep up with it? Because I don't think the Bills offense is necessarily a shootout offense, but the Seahawks defense is incredibly bad. Obviously, Russell Wilson's at that season record pace for touchdown passes right now. I think he's at 26 right now. So if he throws 2 more, he'll be on pace for 56, which of course would be the NFL record, beating Peyton Manning's 55. So just a very interesting dynamic there. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens for that pick for you. I don't hate it, but I don't love it necessarily, just because the Bills haven't been able to impress me in the past few weeks.
All right, fair enough. I think if the Bills don't get well this weekend, if that offense doesn't get well, if they're not competitive, I think the Bills may be done, and this could be Miami's division to win.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. Of course, Miami's got their own problems. I don't know if we'll get to that later or not. I don't know what you've got set up, but I'm going to go with my second pick here, Truman, which is actually your first pick, and that's going to be the Tennessee Titans -6.5. It's a pretty bad Titans defense against an even worse Bears offense. Meanwhile, I think the Bears defense ends up spending too much time on the field, too much Derrick Henry. Tannehill's actually starting to stretch the field. His yards per attempt going up the last 3 games. And you're not gonna do a great job beating the Bears over the top, but I think his mid-range passes, his little zone splitters, this could be a great opportunity for him. At the end of the day, I think that the Bears defense just gets worn down, and Tennessee is able to pull away and cover that 6.5.
Obviously, I love that pick. What a great pick from you, Scott.
There you go.
My second pick of the week, I have the Falcons -4 at -110. They are, of course, facing the Denver Broncos at home. This is a Broncos team that has been dreadful. They did end up pulling out that victory against the Anthony Lynn Chargers last week, as we talked about. But the Chargers right now are just managing to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory almost every week. I think they've blown 3 straight 16-point leads, if I'm correct. And it's just been heartbreaking for over there in Los Angeles. What are they going to do over there in Los Angeles? Go out to the beach, enjoy their nice weather? Man, God, I feel bad for those Chargers fans, all 6 of them. But, of course, I love the Falcons here versus the Broncos. Falcons have been Of course, a lot of this kind of depends on how Calvin Ridley, what the impact of losing Calvin Ridley will look like on this Falcons team. So I'm excited to see what they can do against these Broncos. I like them for my second pick at Falcons -4.
Yeah, I don't hate that. The thing about the Broncos is they've just got serious offensive problems. They don't have much of a run game, and they're not really utilizing Judy and Patrick very well. Both those guys are in the top 20 in the league in yards per catch, but they're barely cracking the top 50 as far as total yards per game. That means these guys are good, and they're not getting utilized enough. Drew Lock having his struggles there in his sophomore season for the Broncos. Falcons defense, don't look now, they're getting better. Giving up just 21.5 points over their last 4 games. Mm-hmm. And I think they dominate this game from beginning to end. Give me the Falcons minus the 4 points. I like that. I like your pick. That's what I have to say. And we screwed up our order. I did 2 in a row. So go ahead and give me your third one.
All right. And of course, the Falcons have that convincing wins against that Panthers team last week that I do believe is better than that Broncos team. So, and that was in Carolina. My third pick of the week is Cardinals -4.5 at -110 versus the Dolphins. You were hoping for the opportunity to talk about those Dolphins. Do you want to mention how banged up they are?
Yeah, I know they're down some guys. This game kind of scared me. Who are they missing, bud?
The Dolphins. I haven't. Let me double check it here. So just to make sure that I've got the list right here. Let me pull it up. See where we're at right now. See who's set to play, because during the week you never know who's gonna end up showing up and who's not gonna show up. Let's see here. Game details.
Actually they look fairly healthy there, buddy.
Yeah.
They got. Did I say something about them being banged up?
I thought you did. You said they were gonna have a few issues.
They do have the issue is with 2 at quarterback. That's their issue.
Okay.
The issue.
I thought you were.
No,
because I thought I had missed some. So that was me going. Who's
no.
hurt? So I sent it over to you. Okay, all right.
The issue is this is a playoff team with Fitzmagic back there, and I understand what they're doing. They've got to see what they've got with Tua, because they've got a shit ton of draft picks next year, and they need to find out whether they need to go after a quarterback or not. So I get it, but I think they're those fans have been struggling for a legitimate team for a long time, and I think it's kind of a shame that they've done what they've done. So we'll see. Maybe Tua will get better. I don't want any part of the Dolphin team this weekend. What do you got on that one?
I've got the Cardinals -4.5 at -110.
Yeah.
And I'm with you there. I thought the decision to pull Fitzpatrick was just a little bit mind-boggling. The Rams, I think, bailed them out with a lot of mistakes last week. There's 2 defensive scores, or at least two long fumble returns.
They had 145 yards of offense last week.
Yeah, and they handled the Rams, which is just odd. And I don't expect to see that trend continue. I don't think playing 2 is the right move here. And I get you got to see what you've got, but I mean, the plan was he wasn't that healthy coming in, and then the plan was always to let him sit a year.
Yeah,
you guys are in playoff contention with a solid veteran quarterback. He's not going to win you any Super Bowls, but he might win you an AFC East in a down year. So yeah, I'm with you. The decision to pull 2 is just kind of mind-boggling. So yeah, I do like the Cardinals at -4.5 there. I think the Dolphins are going to come crashing back to earth.
Yeah, Cardinals off a bye. I like them a lot in that spot. They had a bye, right? Yeah, they're off a bye.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Number
3 for you.
Panthers +10.5 against the Chiefs. I've been take heart, Chiefs fans. I am 0 for the Chiefs this season. I have not picked the Chiefs correctly. I've backed them. I've faded them. I've played the under. I've played the over. I cannot handicap my hometown team. However, I'm going to give it another shot here. I actually took a couple of weeks off. I swore off the Chiefs for a couple of weeks, but McCaffrey's back. This is a terrible team against the run, as we know. They are unable to just slow down any kind of running attack whatsoever. This is the best back they're going to see all season long. I think that the Panthers, even though the Chiefs' offense is hitting on all cylinders right now, I think the Panthers are able to keep it close, maybe even sneak in for a backdoor. I'll take the boys from Carolina plus 10.5.
Right, and the interesting part of that is the Chiefs have been pulling their starters here in the past few weeks. We've seen them pull their starters in the fourth quarter, and so it'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs get up, 20 in the last 10 minutes if they end up pulling the
Well,
starting offense.
we watched that happen in that game last night. As we had the under. Of course, my premium play was Green Bay, and we were good there. But we had the under, and they let they pulled Rodgers and let that terrible team score 2 touchdowns within about the last 6 minutes against the prevent defense, including the last one with 4 seconds left on the clock. So. Yeah, good times. So yes, that definitely can happen. It was nowhere near a backdoor cover, but that certainly could happen if you're up. If you're up 24 with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you can certainly see a backdoor cover there sneaking in under the 10.5. So yep,
Yeah,
I'll take the Panthers.
I do not hate that. Let's move on to our. Well, I kind of hate it, but at the same time, I don't. I think the Carolinas can keep it close there, and 10. I think Chiefs by 10 seems reasonable, especially with Christian McCaffrey back. My number 4 pick is way longer than the rest because I don't know if I could just call them the football team because normally I just put mascots up here, but I wouldn't call them just the football team, so I had to put out the whole Washington football team minus 2.5 over the New York Giants at home. They're at Washington. I always stumble over that. I like football team here minus 2.5. This Giants team is just awful, and obviously the spreadsheet reflects this. I think the football team is going to handle them pretty well. It's not my favorite pick of the week. It's a pick that I saw, and sometimes we've talked about this in the past. Sometimes I see the picks and I go, oh, that's kind of a gross pick. But the NFC East versus anybody else in the NFC East is always a great, always an interesting matchup. A fun fact about the NFC East: there's only been one road win in the NFC East this year, and it's by the Philadelphia Eagles. In the entire conference, only one team has won a road game, and they've won one.
Spanking Dallas down there.
Yeah. So I like the Washington football team here as the Giants have to travel to Washington, and so I like them at minus 2.5.
Fun fact, and I know I just did another show, and my partner was talking about taking the Washington at minus 2.5. Still at Bet Online, it's minus 1 juiced at minus 128. So there's even an arbitrage opportunity if you have a couple different sites. You could play Washington minus 1 and play the Giants plus 2.5 and see if you could eke out a 2-point win there for Washington and cash both sides. But
I did that with the Islanders a few times during the NHL playoffs. I was able to hit it. I bet it at over 5, and then in the middle of the game I'd be able to get like an under 6.5 or something.
Right. Yeah. You take Washington. You take Washington minus 1, and then take the Giants plus 2.5, and you're pretty much good to go if you get 2. So.
Yep.
And there's always a lot of arbitrage opportunities betting live too.
Yeah.
Especially if you've already got a position and you can certainly arb that. So. Very good. I don't hate that pick. I don't want to get anywhere near that mud fest. Unless the Cowboys are playing, I'm probably staying out of the NFC East.
Yeah, because who knows with the NFC East.
Right. Yeah, there's too many variables. So my 4th pick is going to be from the AFC West. Speaking of those lovable Chargers, I'm going to take the Chargers. No, I'm not going to take no. Nobody would do that. I'm taking the over in this game, over 51.5. Raiders, sneaky bad defense. They give up a ton of points. They're usually able to score a bunch of points and win. The Chargers, they play well for 2.5, 3 quarters, and then the wheels completely fall off. I think that this one ends up being a back and forth affair. Probably last team with the ball ends up winning it. I like the over here, 51.5 between the Raiders and the Chargers. By the way, a little known fact: even though the Charger Stadium has been completely empty, it's been open to fans the entire year. So.
Man, that is one of those stages. But 2 teams that I'd love to go see their new stadiums. Obviously, the Las Vegas stadium there the Death Star, and to go see the Chargers' new stadium and the SoFi. I've heard so many things about it. As an engineer, I do want to go see those at some point.
Right. Go see the big Roomba in the desert there in Las Vegas.
Yeah, hell, I'd even like to go see the Cardinals field. I'd like to just go watch them change the grass one day. You know.
That's pretty amazing. They grow the grass outside and then roll it inside, and
Yeah.
I don't know how that works because you're in the desert anyway. So I guess you put it outside for like 15 minutes before it just screams and dries up.
Right.
Because I don't know if you've ever been to Phoenix in the winter, in the summer, but there ain't a lot of green around. So
No, not at all.
All right, what do you got? What's your last one? Bring us home, boy.
My final pick, I think, is going to be just a tad ironic after your previous statement. I can't help myself, and I have the Chargers -1, minus 105 versus the Raiders.
Sickness with you. Jesus, my goodness.
Oh, I love the pain. Anthony Lynn, break my heart one more time, why don't you? I know I just mentioned how the Chargers have been up 16 in the past 3 weeks and blown all those leads. So I think as long as the Chargers don't get a big lead here, I love them.
That's like you're going to take your wife out for the anniversary. You got reservations at a beautiful bed and breakfast, and you're going to take her out for a big dinner, and you crash the car coming out of the driveway, or you made it almost all the way there, and then you get a hankering for McDonald's and
drive off the road.
You drive off the road on the way to McDonald's. Exactly. That's kind of been the Chargers.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I had the Colts here at I had the Colts money line, but I liked them by less than a point, and then the Colts line shifted to Colts -1, and I was like, well, per rules, I don't like this pick.
Plus, that's a terrible pick.
And damn, I would have loved the Colts. Although Colts -1 over the Ravens would have been a very interesting pick either. But so I told you I had 7 picks. The 5th pick to make it in this week was the next man up was Chargers -1, minus 105.
Okay, very good. I'm going to bring us home with my weekly fade of the worst team in professional football, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know who drew the short straw this week and what Division II never going to be quarterback is going to be starting for Dallas.
Oh,
I know.
I saw it. I saw the name and I immediately forgot it because hold on, while you keep talking about,
I don't know if they officially named it. It was down to 2 guys. It was down to Gilbert. It was down to Garrett Gilbert or my God, they don't even have the second guy listed on the depth chart of ESPN. Jesus. Not going to be here long. So let's see. Is
Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert?
Cooper Rush. That's right. The kid from Central Michigan. That's right. Yeah, he's. They're gonna. I don't know.
They still haven't named the quarterback Cooper as of Rush today.
That's like if you flip a coin and the wind blows it over the side of the row, over the side of the deck, and it goes into the water. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is your coin's gone, and both sides suck.
Cooper Rush sounds like the drink that the Dallas Cowboys fans are going to be drinking after watching this game.
Yeah, I need a big glass of Cooper Rush. No, this is a terrible team. They have no quarterback. Zeke has just pretty much given up on the season. He decided that well, fuck it. If Dak's going to be hurt, I don't really need to show up. So yeah, not good. And I fading this defense at every opportunity is something that I'm going to do. Yeah, that's a ton of points. Yeah, the Steelers don't tend to have big, gigantic victories, but you know what? They've got the best defense in football. I can't imagine, without something extraordinary happening, how Dallas can score more than 10 points, and I don't think that that's going to be enough to get it done here against the Steelers. I think the Steelers hang a 30 spot on them at least, and I think that'll be plenty of room to cover the 14 points. Give me the Pittsburgh football Steelers waving those terrible towels on the way to a decisive victory over America's least favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. So to recap it, I have the Titans -6.5. The Falcons -4, Cardinals -4.5, Washington football team -2.5, and the Chargers -1. You have the Bills money line at plus 145, the Titans minus 6.5, Panthers plus 10.5, the Los Angeles over 51.5, and the Steelers minus 14 at the Cowboys.
That's it, my friend.
I like it. I like them. Hopefully, I think this looks like a good week for us to bounce back. I think we got a lot of good value here. I think we got some tasty picks coming up.
Yeah, I do feel pretty good about this week. Sometimes you go in and you struggle to come up with 5. You don't really like what you've got put together. That was actually the last couple of weeks, and that's kind of been borne out. So I like these picks. I think we're going to be a 3-2, 4-1 kind of week. Maybe even Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Maybe we even hit that hit the big umbrella for 5-0.
5-0. That would be great. Well, let's wrap it up here, Scott. Scott, where can we find you?
You can find me every day as we do a little show we like to call Today in Sports Betting over there, our Winners and Winers YouTube channel. And, of course, if you want more of my picks, just visit us over there at Winners and Winers, which is something you should be doing anyway, winnersandwiners.com. There is no other handicapping site like it in the free world. So make sure you get over there and check that out. Deep dives into every single game, every single day. And while you're there, check out my premium picks. I can hook you up with all my best plays each and every day.
I do.
And if you want to, you can find me at Twitter at steamroller.com. There you go.
Even better. I do appreciate you being here, Scott. Of course, I have been Truman Steehn, the Machine. You can find me at twitter.com/SteehnMachine or twitch.tv/SteehnMachine. Or if you want my picks, I put them out every Sunday for the NFL, and we're hopefully going to start rolling in some during the week. You can go to www.rollingwiththemachine.com. That site is live, and it's rolling.
Rolling with the machine, buddy. Very good.
And on the YouTube video, I hope like, subscribe, leave some comments, let us know what you're riding with, what you're not rolling with. We'd love to hear from you. And Scott,
Yep.
As always, I'll take this line from you. Hope to see you back at the window.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. I wish everybody good luck on all of their plays. Thanks for tuning in, and catch us next week.
All righty, I'll see you then.
All right, take care, bud.